Pure, good to see how you doing. Evening, how you been? You're the first one in today. How you been, Pure? Scott, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? George, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? What's up, bro? Moomin, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? JP, good evening. Miles and all CMF, good to see you. JP, how you doing, brother? How you been? All good. Hope yours is too. It's been good. It's been a very busy day. My verified account on X is unsuspended again. That's good to hear, Scott. Hello, brother Miles. Good news. Justin Trinidad stepped down today. Yes, I saw Justin Trinidad stepped down today from Canada, which is incredible. The Prime Minister of Canada is completely out of the picture now. To be fairly honest, the Prime Minister of Canada was incredibly useless. What's up, Miles? What's up, CMF? Kerry, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles. How's it going? Artistic is going great. How's it going with you? How's things? Camel, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? Man, I'm not first today. Wow. Yeah, don't worry about it, Scott. Good to see you. How you been? How was your weekend? It was busy as well. The whole weekend today. Every day has been very busy since the New Year's has ended. A lot of things have been happening. A lot of things are in progress, to be fairly honest. But yeah, one of the best news that came out today. I mean, there's a lot of good news that came out today, to be fairly honest. One of them was the Prime Minister of Canada stepping down. Great news for Canadians, honestly. Absolutely amazing news. Dennis, hi, Miles. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? But we're going to talk about that on tonight's live as well, regarding the Prime Minister of Canada essentially stepping down. So before we go through any of those topics, let's go through what we're going to be talking about tonight's episode. By the way, tonight is episode 235 of the CMF Live, which is incredible in itself. So on episode 235 on the CMF Live, we're going to be talking about analyst perspectives in terms of cryptocurrencies being like the new, essentially, space race. So if anybody remembers back in the day, it was about which country makes it to the moon first. There was a race between essentially the US, Russia, and a few other countries that who's trying to make it to the moon first. Analysts essentially and CEOs of companies are describing the space race as now the crypto race. Which country is going to get to become essentially a crypto hub first, which is amazing to hear. Essentially basing on what was crypto known for before. Now, what we're also going to be talking about is essentially the MiCA regulations on tonight's live as well, and how, well, essentially the EU could be winning in that race as well. Then we're going to be talking about Justin Trinidad essentially stepping down, and is that a good thing for crypto or a bad thing for crypto? Then we're going to be talking about Prince Philip, not the one inside the United Kingdom, but the one based out of Serbia, who just came out of nowhere and said that essentially Bitcoin is a token for freedom, so it's a token for human rights, and everybody should go towards Bitcoin or crypto assets. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live regarding Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor has just decided to purchase another batch of Bitcoin, quite a ridiculous amount as well, to be fairly honest. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live regarding the Federal Reserve, a person who is also the a Federal Reserve vice chair has decided to step down from the Federal Reserve because he knows when Trump comes into power, his job could be on the line. Then we're going to be talking about on tonight's live regarding the matters of Putin and China. Essentially, Russia and China and a bank based out of Russia are coming together to advance AI technology between these two countries so they could compete and go up against the US is what they're essentially aiming for. And then we're going to be talking about on tonight's live regarding the matters of Bernstein. Bernstein's analysts have came out with new predictions inside the market space of what they think it's going to be possibly happening in 2025 in terms of cryptocurrencies. And then we're going to be talking about Bitwise's CEO new predictions on the market space based on a Trump presidency, which is not that far off. January 20th is not that far off, and thank God for that we're getting very close to January 20th, where Donald Trump can finally take over. And then we're also going to be going through essentially a perspective coming from Ripple on what's going to be happening in 2025. But before we go through any of those news topics regarding, Ripple's CEO, Bitwise's CEO, and a few of the CEOs and some country perspectives on a lot of things that are happening around the world. Before we go any of those news topics, I just want to say that everyone watching right now, welcome to the CMF Live. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this is the CMF Live. It stands for essentially Crypto Miles family. My name is Miles. I go by the persona of Crypto Miles, and I'm the host of this live every day, essentially Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time. I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, and regulations. Vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. We also do Q&As on this live as well, which means if you do have any questions, put it down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to essentially help you out on any questions you may have. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So if you're watching for the first time ever, welcome to the CMF Live. And if you're regular, let's go CMF. Now, the live show has officially started now. By the way, this is episode 235 once again, which is absolutely incredible. And thank you so much to everybody that's retweeted this live, getting notifications. Thank you so much to everyone that's retweeted this live on X, liked this live on X, and put a comment outside the video on X. And thanks so much to everyone on YouTube who's watching right now, who's also liked the live as well. Thank you to everyone. Now, let's see where we are inside the comment section before we go for the first news. And the first news we are going to be covering on tonight's live is a perspective, essentially, of Trump's administration coming into power. What could possibly happen for the cryptocurrency space? Before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the first news, and then essentially comments, news. So we're going to go a bit back and forward. Let's see where we were at. We were at here. Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi from Malaysia. Heavy rain today. Shakira, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles, it's suspended again. I do not know what is going on. Scott, I'll take a look into it afterwards. Regarding the direct message you probably sent me as well. I'll take a look into it. The Trump effect. All World Economic Forum puppets are on the run. Yeah, pretty much. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. Good evening, brother Miles. Good evening to you as well. Thank you, brother. How you doing? How you been? Hello, Miles. T. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Good evening, CMF family. Thank you, brother. Let's go. Evening, Miles of CMF. Let's go, Joe. Episode 235. Let's go, Scott. Let's go, Scott. Good evening, Miles on CMF. Bull XRP. Good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? XDC is about to rock and roll. I keep reading very good information on it. XDC is an incredible asset, especially being part of R3 Corridor, which makes it even 10 times better. Hey, Miles, is Thailand crypto friendly with their banks? We've never heard anything bad coming out of Thailand, to be fairly honest, regarding crypto assets. So for the time being, I would say yes. Thailand seemed to be crypto friendly. I haven't heard anything bad about it, not on the levels of Gary Gensler situations in Thailand, but I think it's a good place. I can take look into it more for you if you're planning on living there. Greetings, Miles and family. A lot going on in the world. Definitely is. Hope all is well though. Let's go, Ray. Good to see you, how you doing? Good evening, Miles. How are you? I'm doing great, Callie. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Good evening, Miles at CMF. Free and forever. Good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Can you wish me a happy birthday to my mom? She is in the middle and will be deployed to Egypt tomorrow. Her name is... I don't believe this is a real person, so good try. That's definitely not a real person. Hello, Miles. What pricing can XDC reach in the bull run? What prices can XDC reach based on its utility? Sky's the limit. On the correct rules and regulation and essentially the right amount of adoption, sky's the limit. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Orphan, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? You think XDC will be outperformed XLM? Please answer. Do I think XDC will outperform XLM? No, maybe. Look, they're both great assets. Comparing XLM and XDC, they're both in the same category. They're both going to do exceptionally well. So either way you go, you're perfectly fine. Holding both, you even better. Now, First news on tonight's live is a perspective coming in from analysts and CEOs. And it was an interview essentially that was done on CNBC, but the CNBC side of Squashbox way to talk about the market space and crypto assets and so on. So here it is. Analysts are saying essentially that cryptocurrencies will be like the new space race in the Trump administration. Shares what he expects. So the cryptocurrency industry is awash with optimism as the price of Bitcoin has surged by over 40% since Donald Trump's election victory in November. With many inside the crypto community hopeful that the new administration will encourage a more crypto-friendly, essentially regulatory environment. Ari Redboard, head of legal and government affairs at blockchain intelligence firm TRM Labs, joined CNBC Squashbox today to discuss the impacts of Trump's presidencies on digital assets in 2025. He said a lot of promises were made on the campaign trail, and now we're starting to see some of those promises come to fruition. Redboard said, highlighting the key appointments in Trump's administration, including Scott Benson as the Treasury Secretary, Paul Atkins as the SEC Chairman, and David Sachs as the former PayPal executives, stepping into the role of the Chief Crypto Officer. So far, what Trump has said about, what he's going to be achieving inside the crypto space in America, he's, following suit, as he always does. It is Trump. When he says something, he's going to do it. He's the only politician in history who's ever said, I'm going to do this, and he actually does it. When it comes to people, we see leadership across the cabinet that supports digital assets and innovation. Redboard said he likened the current momentum in the US crypto space to the space race, noting that the country now has the opportunity to catch up or surpass global competitors in the blockchain and digital asset space. Bitcoin has been on focus of his renowned optimism, reaching nearly $100,000 in speculation about impeding essentially policy changes. Bitcoin has traditionally seen essentially as an investment mechanism or a store of value, Redboard said. But what's exciting is seeing the technology being used in meaningful ways, like cross-border payments, remittances, and more, and utility that's going to be coming ahead. Redboard also commented on proposals such as the US Street Bitcoin Reserve that could increase Bitcoin's role in the national global finance space. Similar initiatives are also being explored by countries and even US states like Texas, signaling a shift in how governments view crypto assets. While Redboard is bullish on Bitcoin's long-term potential, he refrained from making specific price predictions. However, he hinted at his beliefs significantly higher valuations valued by adoption, innovation, and supportive policies under Trump's administration. Despite the optimism, Redboard acknowledged ongoing challenges. There is still a perception, particularly among essentially prosecutors, that Bitcoin is essentially linked to crime. He said nothing that the broader conversation around regulation enforcement is needed to address these concerns. Look, I've said this essentially before, and I will say it again. When we were in 2024, I said going into 2025, it's going to be an incredible year. And I said the 4 years under Trump are going to be absolutely amazing. The market's always going to be reacting in a positive way to Donald Trump. Stock market, and especially crypto market, because first, we got rid of Gary Gensler. We got rid of the FDIC chairman. We got rid of a lot of people who were anti-crypto. Now everybody that's replaced them is pretty much pro-crypto. All these are good news for moving ahead. And basically what this man is, essentially this CEO of this company who's just did an interview at essentially CNBC Squashbox was talking about is 2025, now that we're in, and Trump coming in January 20th is going to be an exceptional year. It's going to be a year about rules and regulations. It's going to be a year about adoption. It's going to be a year about essentially institutional adoption, most importantly, which means crypto assets that have institutional contracts in place and have licenses in place are going to do exceptionally well compared to other crypto assets that don't have any licensings or isn't any sort of institutional partners. Which means projects like XRP are going to do incredibly well this year. Projects like XLM, XDC, Chainlink, AVAX, so the list goes on for quite a lot of assets. Now, moving on essentially from the CNBC Squashbox interview that came out today, which is incredibly positive news for the crypto space. But I like how he compared it to the space race as well. So what I've been saying for the longest time is if America does something, everybody else follows, which is very true. I mean, think about it. The Bank of International Settlements said if the American market sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold, which was American markets, moving the positive momentum and do something, the rest of the world will follow. So I said, not only are we going to be getting pro rules and regulations coming for crypto assets in America, and essentially the banks, institutions getting involved in the American market space, but the rest of the world is going to follow. So whatever America does. So America moves positive in crypto, the world moves positive in crypto, which means more money is going to enter the market space on assets that you're holding, especially if you're holding legitimate assets. Everything that I've been saying was just repeated on the CNBC Squash Box by a CEO of a random company. Not saying the CEO has ever seen me or knows me, but as always, what I say happens. Not being cocky in any sort of way either. But I'm very, very happy about the wisdom God's given me, because I say things before anybody else says it, and normally I get repeated by CEOs or executive board members on news channels. Now, the next news we are going to be talking about is regarding MiCA regulations. And those are the regulatory clarity, which is relatable to the whole, everybody's racing for that number one seat of a crypto hub, which is what that CEO was talking about. Because every country now wants to become a crypto hub. There's a few countries that are still, we don't know if we like crypto or support crypto, but the majority of the world is very, very pro-crypto now. And it's mostly because of Donald Trump. And as I said previously, thank God Donald Trump won. So on the topic of, countries want to become crypto hubs now, that everybody's racing for that number one seat, MiCA regulations. The EU is, moving ahead and trying to become a crypto hub, but a very safe, regulated crypto hub, because they want European institutions to be involved inside the crypto space, but European institutions and banks need regulations. So on that topic of racing to the start, racing to the finishing line, MiCA regulatory clarity could make the EU the leading crypto hub. I personally think America is going to become the leading crypto hub, but some assume that the EU is going to become the leading crypto hub. I don't personally care. What I care about is everybody aiming for that title, because the more they aim for the title of crypto hub as a country, any country, the more money that they bring to the table. For us, people who are already inside crypto projects for the longest time. The MiCA has phased implementations began with the focus of asset essentially reference tokens, ARTs, and electronic money tokens, EMTs, establishing a structured framework to regulate crypto assets. These initial measures allowed essentially businesses within the EU to identify which types of crypto assets and services could legally operate within the single market space. As firms adapt to the regulations, laying the foundations for innovative business models and services and offerings, MiCA answers the cries of regulatory clarity and promotes responsible innovation, but is the assumptions of enough to attract crypto firms globally, maybe more than not. MiCA's comprehensive framework addresses asset issuance, licensing requirements for crypto service providers, and risk managers' essentially measures, along with robust anti-money laundering rules and regulations, the AML situation. James Wester, director of essentially cryptocurrencies at Drivelin Strategies and Research, gave a perspective on this matter. Contrast the EU's approach with what he describes as regulatory vacuum inside the United States. Wester pointed out that uncertainty plaguing inside the US crypto markets, he retweeted that the MiCA provides clear compliance pathways, which puts Europe a step ahead of jurisdictions like America. Now, Richard Armitage, the senior head of regulatory affairs at ID Now, shed light on this importance of unifying regulations across crypto ecosystems. She went on to say, to harmonize regulations across an ecosystem, it is ambitious projects. The unification and transparency that is supposed to come out of the MiCA is really important. One of those crucial steps to enable KYC to do its job and foster trust inside the ecosystem. Beyond Europe, MiCA could set a global precedent for crypto regulations, offering a consolidation of frameworks that other nations might adapt. To put it clearly, the legislation provides a comprehensive roadmap for compliance and addresses a key challenge for crypto firms and regulatory uncertainty. It's the kind of thing a company can look and say, there's a target I can hit. MiCA's structured approach may influence global regulators, especially in the US, where enforcement often essentially outweighs clear rulemakings. It could close regulatory gaps, lead the global markets to more harmonized sense of financial laws, and help Europe make a bid to become the world's capital of cryptocurrencies. Look, I personally think now that, obviously Donald Trump is going to be coming into power January 20th, America is definitely going to become the crypto hub of the entire world. Now, the EU is obviously aiming for that title as well. So is the UK in their own words. So is essentially Middle Eastern countries, and so is Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, even China, believe it or not. Latin American countries are also aiming. Essentially, Brazil, for example, is really aiming for the title of crypto hub. But look, all of these countries aiming for that title is incredible news. As I said previously, it just brings more money to the table. So I personally couldn't care, essentially, each country coming out and going, we want to become number one, we want to become number one. What I care about is the money they're going to bring to the table. And they're going to bring a lot of money to the table. And again, it's going to be money that's going to be entering the crypto projects you're holding for the longest time. If you're holding legitimate assets, crypto assets that barely moved throughout these years, for example, XRP, because of the lawsuit, but it has the most amount of licensings and contracts in place. All those years that XRP landed contract after contract, and people mocked XRP and said, oh, XRP signed another business, but XRP's price hasn't moved. All those years that projects like XRP didn't move, but signed the most amount of contracts in the institutional space and got the most amount of licensings. Well, we're coming to a stage where regulation is about to be coming in and adoption is about to be starting, which means crypto projects that have the most amount of contracts and licensings in place are going to be the ones that rocket the most upwards. Couldn't be more basic than that. Now, before we talk about the next news, which is regarding Canada, let's go inside the comment section first. As I said previously, this is a live, which means if you do have any questions, put it outside the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. So let's just go inside the comment section first, and then we go straight into the next news, which is regarding Canada. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Good to see you as well. How you doing, Orphan? How you been? You think XDC will... I already read that one. Then Scott, I will be looking to buy 100 XD. Morning, Miles and CMF. Shelly, good to see you as well. How you doing? Morning. How you been? You've gone out of sync, Miles. Is it just me or Miles is like it? I don't know if I have gone out of sync. Have I gone out of sync? Even Miles and family. David, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Are you sure that XLM will not take XRP's place? Am I sure that XLM will not take XRP's place? In my own perspective, 1 billion% yes. I know there are people inside the crypto space who are telling others, XRP is not the one, it's XLM. I know there's people inside the crypto space. I've seen the videos. I've seen the influencers post inside the crypto space, the ones that post and say, XRP is not the one, XLM is the one, XLM is the one. It's not. Look, XLM is a great project, no doubt about it. XLM is a great project. XDC is an incredible project. HBAR is a great project. There are so many great projects out there, but nothing, and I mean nothing, in the financial category compares to XRP. So on the question of, are you sure that XLM will not take XRP's place? 1 billion% I'm sure. Why is XDC not on the Binance and Coinbase and Supercoin? Please advise. Reasons why it's not being posted is because there's a very odd reason, to be fairly honest. And there are so many explanations of why XDC isn't posted on these exchanges. One of them was that it's because they don't want it inside the retail's hands, which never made any sense because it's on Uphold. And then some other weird reasons as well, but no one ever really knows why they haven't got listed. Because they are part of R3 Cord, and R3 Cord is a part of Bank of International Settlements and multiple testings. Share the live, let's go, Scott. The difference between Trump and 99.9% of other politicians is Trump don't need money. He is not here for money. So he don't need to lie to get votes like other politicians who lie to get your vote. I agree 1%. I agree 100%. I agree 1%. I agree 100%. That was more of a statement. Thank God Trump won, Crypto Miles. Yes, honestly, thank God Donald Trump won. Absolutely. Good day, Miles of CMF. Mike, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Greetings, Miles of CMF. Lena, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Yes, say buy, which you buy can't afford, but I want to know what is the minimum amount of coins for holding XLM, XRP, and Pepe, so I can build a folder. Whatever you can afford. Easy, Miles. Let's go, Mac. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Miles and CMF. I'm away from my computer, but I'm listening. Stormy, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Muchas gracias. No problem. Miles, can you explain How much is large holding amount, medium holding, smallest, so I can target? Anything between $1,000 to $1,000, you're good to go pretty much. To be fair honest, look, just set yourself a budget, and weekly or monthly, just jump inside the crypto space. Weekly or monthly, just jump inside the crypto space. I've told people, even if you can't afford to have thousands of dollars worth of crypto assets, $5 a week on the correct asset could go a long way. $5 a week on XRP, if you start a long time ago, would have gone a long way. On XLM or XDC or HPO, so on. If you can't afford that much, $10 a week, $5 a week, $20 a week, it will go a long way in the long run. Because you're going to be aiming for the long run, not the short term. Hi, Miles. Hope you're well. Zach, good to see you. How you doing? I'm doing great, brother. How you been? Canada belongs to America, and the Panama Channel and Greenland. You're all delusional. You just made a statement and then called everybody delusional. It's an interesting one. Hello, Miles and CMF. Junos, good to see you. How you doing? Yes, the sound is before vision. The sound is before vision. That's a bit weird. Most cryptocurrencies are meaningless if they're not into probability. I agree. If Brazil wants to use the Ethereum chain and Russia wants to use the XRP, it won't work to exchange those values. Chainlink allows multiple chains to interpol with each other. Incorrect. So no, you don't really need Chainlink to be the middleman, because you can just use an EMV. A bridge could be done as well. So you don't really use Chainlink. Hi, Miles. Hope you're well, and good evening to all inside the CMF. Adi, good to see you. How you doing? Adi, how you been? Most data integrity delivered between chains is done with Chainlink. Yes and no. There are other projects that are doing exact same thing, but you don't need Chainlink to be a middleman. If the one company is running ETH and the other one's running XRP, you could just use an EVM. You don't really need Chainlink. You just use a bridge to carry a payment. I mean, now, will you say 300 Chainlink is good? 300 Chainlink is good, but either way, Chainlink is still a good project as well, but you don't really need it if you're saying in that sense. Oh yeah, just use an EVM, that will work. Yeah, for payments. Now, but Chainlink is still a good project, no doubt about it. Absolutely amazing. Miles spitting facts as always. Let's go back. Now, Canada. Canada's Prime Minister left, which is actually a good thing for everyone in Canada, I'm guessing, because in my opinion, even though I'm not Canadian, I think that man who was running Canada, Justin Trudeau, was useless. The only word pretty much I can use without swearing, he was useless. So here it is, and this is crypto relatable as well. Justin Trudeau resigned. Will new, essentially, Prime Minister of Canada be crypto friendly? Because Canada so far hasn't been very crypto friendly, to be fairly honest. They haven't introduced much rules and regulations, but the ones they have introduced aren't very good for the crypto space, for Canadian market space. Now, Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada for the past 9 years, has officially resigned today, under heavy criticism of his cabinet and Liberal Party of Canada. This has first been reported by the Toronto Star and then CNN, and pretty much every other news channel has confirmed the news. Given the ongoing nature of events, many guessed who might take his place. With Piero essentially being the main candidate to replace Justin Trudeau, Polymarket, a well-known prediction platform, was predicting that 92% chance that he will become Canada's next Prime Minister or on before October 25. Polymarket users quickly backed Piero in the betting contracts named next Prime Minister of Canada, which has seen over $260,800 in trading dollars. People believe essentially this prediction because of Piero's views against Trinidad's policies and his strong opposition to central bank digital currency CBDCs. Piero has consistently pushed against the creation of CBDCs, emphasizing the need to preserve cash usage to protect privacy and financial freedom. Let me make one thing very clear. Any country, any prime minister, to be fairly honest, any prime minister or president or anybody comes out and goes, I'm against CBDCs and cash along the way is going to happen and so on. Yeah, they're all lying to you. Not a single one of them is telling you the truth. CBDCs will happen no matter if you like it or not. It's going to be happening. Not there's not a single prime minister or president in this world that could stop a CBDC from happening. Even though they might tell you, they still can't stop it. And the Bank of Canada essentially scaled back plans to explore CBDCs, which is something may say was a response to political pressure, which is also a lie. The Bank of Canada hasn't slowed down in any sort of way. If you look at the Bank of International Settlements documentations, including efforts by Pierrot, he has also made it clear that supports Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. That part is true. During a campaign speech in 2022, he talked about making Canada a possible global center for blockchain technology. This friendly view got essentially a lot of attention from blockchain users and investors, but it has also received criticism from political rivals. With Trinidad gone, Pierrot's essentially political future looks more certain, and many are now questioning whether his leadership will back pro-crypto policies. I think Pierrot will definitely make essentially, Pierrot will definitely be a pro-crypto candidate. But what's also strange is that we're getting pro-crypto candidates pretty much happening now, straight after Trump. So when Trump became obviously chosen as the next president of America, who's also pro-crypto, now we got Canada essentially pro-crypto prime minister coming through as well. Austria today had another situation where they're also going to get a pro-crypto president, a pro-crypto prime minister coming through as well. And a few of the countries are about to be following in suit. So it's very strange that all of a sudden the prime ministers, all the presidents of the world are one by one switching over to pro-crypto prime ministers or presidents. Coincidence or coordinated? It's a very weird one. We're moving away from the prime ministers and presidents that were anti-crypto, that were, weird. There was a lot of weird things happening in the world in 2024 and 2023, to be fairly honest. People were way too sensitive. And some countries are still too sensitive, they're people. But slowly, we're going back to normal, and Trump's coming into power and so on. But we're getting... The presidents and prime ministers of the world are changing one by one, and they're all becoming pro-crypto. And they all have similar mentalities to Trump, which is a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's a good thing. But weird that they're all happening like a domino effect. Nothing in this world happens by coincidence. Things happen coordinately. So who's pulling the strings is the question. Now, let's go inside the comment section before we go for the first news. Before we go for the next news, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we'll go straight to the next news. Let's see. You don't need it for sure, but most integrity is done with them and is partnered with Swift and yes, that's true. Okay, what part was it? Morning, Miles, the CMF. Hope everyone is well. So I'm not going to say how you doing. He's a moron, Miles. Let's go, Shelley. Yeah, I agree. The Prime Minister of Canada was definitely a moron. XRP was designed to overpower Swift. Chainlink is partnered with Swift. Yes, that's very, very true. But do you know what the downfall of Swift is? Look, let me break it down to you. Big Toad, you're a very intelligent person, but you're missing a few things. So you also said I own both, but if Swift partners with Chainlink and Microsoft is partnered with Chainlink, the pilot is CBDC with Brazil, which is on the news, the proof is in the pudding of what the people will choose. Interesting perspective on that matter. But also what you need to understand is the biggest downfall of Swift wasn't that it was slow, because the banking system has been using Swift for a very long time as a messaging service. So the biggest downfall of Swift isn't that it's slow, it's not that it's expensive. The biggest downfall of Swift is that it's not essentially a payment tool or a messaging service, it's that it's a political tool. That's the biggest downfall of Swift, that it's a political tool, which means it doesn't matter if Swift partners with Chainlink. It doesn't matter if Swift partners with AVAX, or if it partners with Ethereum, if it partners with Ripple, if it partners with whoever. The biggest downfall of Swift is that it's a political tool, not a payment service or a messaging service. So even though that Swift is partnered with Chainlink, the world is still trying to move away from Swift because it's a payment tool, because it's a political tool. That is the biggest downfall of Swift that most people overlook. The reason why countries are moving away from SWIFT is not because SWIFT is slow and expensive, because they've been using SWIFT for the longest time. The reason why countries are moving away from SWIFT is because it's a political tool, which means every country is scared that one day America will give the order to SWIFT and SWIFT will say sanction. And then that country's entire payment system goes to nothing, just completely fails. So always remember, the biggest downfall of SWIFT, which nobody's, I'm guessing, has told you yet, the biggest downfall of SWIFT is not because it's slow and expensive, because it's been used for years. The biggest downfall of SWIFT is that it's a political tool. So it doesn't matter if SWIFT is partnered with Ethereum, if it's partnered with Chainlink, if it's partnered with AVAX, if it's partnered with Near, Ripple, XLM, whoever SWIFT can be partnered with. There are central banks right now around the world trying to move away from SWIFT because it's a political tool. And they're scared one day their banking system will be cut off as well. So that is why they're moving away from SWIFT. And it doesn't matter who SWIFT is partnered with, they don't like it because it's a political tool, which can be switched on and off. So that is why they're moving away from SWIFT. Everybody would tell you it's because SWIFT is slow, because SWIFT is expensive. And now that SWIFT is partnered with Chainlink, it's faster, it's better, it's cheaper. That's not the reason why they're moving away from SWIFT. From a political perspective, they're moving away from it because it's a sanction tool. Now, there's also a PDF documentation on the Bank of International Settlements titled Cross-Border Payments. Ironically, SWIFT is on that because it's cross-border payments, but so is Ripple. So regarding the proof is in the pudding, the proof is definitely in the pudding. It's the political tool that's the issue. So honestly, it doesn't matter who SWIFT is partnered with. SWIFT's days are numbered. Most of Canada wanted Justin Trudeau gone many years ago. I agree. We need election, but he programmed Parliament. Now we have to wait another 3 months for the election. You certainly don't need Chainlink to perform the same function as an EVM. No, EVM is good for payments, but nothing else pretty much. Miles, you make me laugh calling him Justin Trudeau. That is Trudeau. Yes, Justin Trudeau, yeah. But EVMs such as Polygon and rollups are still new and not used as a wider institutional scale yet. I agree, 100%. But you're a very intelligent person, Big T. Very intelligent person, but you're missing a few things. Miles, your humor is timeless. Let's go. Honestly, you're priceless. Let's go. Do you think Canada will become a part of the US? Do I think Canada will become a part of the US? No. I mean, it will be better for Canada, probably, because Trump is a better leader, to be fairly honest. And Trump is the best leader Canada's going to get. If I had a vote, I'll vote Trump for the UK any day, within a second. If there was an option to vote Trump as the UK Prime Minister, I would do it in a second, a millisecond. I wouldn't even think twice about it. Because we have nobody inside the UK I would possibly vote for. Not a single person. There's not a single candidate in the UK that's good in any sort of a way. So if that happens for Canada, Canada should be very lucky to be under America and to be under Trump's leadership. Very lucky. Because even Canada doesn't have anyone good. Miles, if XRP, but I don't think it's going to happen. If XRP did 1,600% last bull run, should not XRP do a lot more than this bull run? What's your thoughts? Yes. Under rules and regulations, well, look, I've already said this. XRP needs 3 green lights. First green light, the case needs to be dismissed or settled, which is going to happen this year. Second, which is going to happen very soon as well, to be fairly honest. Second, XRP needs rules and regulations. The client base for Ripple and XRP is mostly institutions and banks. Institutions and banks need rules and regulations because they don't like operating gray areas. Gray areas leads to a CFTC fine or an SEC fine. So, 1, SEC case needs to be dismissed or settled for XRP case. 2, rules and regulations need to be there for their client base. 3, adoption is when we're going to be seeing that happening for the price climbing higher and higher. Good thing is, case is going to end this year. Rules and regulations are happening for the first 100 days of Trump's administration, according to Trump's administration. Third thing, adoption is going to be happening pretty much while the rules and regulations are coming through. So it's basically an all-free situation this year, by the looks of it. But obviously, we're going to get more regulations going to next year, and we'll see more adoption happening next year and beyond and so on. So yeah, it should do. If you go on Google and type in Microsoft Chainlink Brazil partnership, they're piloting a CBDC with Chainlink, not Ethereum. It's true, but they're still under the Bank of International Settlements. They're testing, they're not implementing it. Miles, some say XRP can be $1,000. Is this truth or just hype? It's not hype. XRP can, under the correct rules and regulations adoptions, it definitely can, 1,000,000%. It's not hype, it's true. Is there any way on this planet Gary Gensler could do Jay Clinton on the 20th of January? No, I don't think so. Also, Brazilian CBDC partner with Link for security, not payments. That's also true as well. With Microsoft, that's also true as well. Now we all need is Newsom to resign. That would be great for us Californians. Yes, true. The Link token is used to fuel smart contracts. Yes. You don't use Chainlink for payments and money, but it costs Chainlink to run a smart contract, which is also true. People who use Chainlink for smart contracts get 10% discount versus using your own currency and convert it to Link token to activate a smart contract on multiple chains, which is good. But Miles watching you right now is like watching those old Kung Fu films that were dubbed in English. Is it moving that slow with the words? That's a bit weird, isn't it? SWIFT helped with sanctioning Russia and helped form BRICS by using their political influence. SWIFT, by result of cutting off Russian money, helped influence them to buy Bitcoins and take it seriously. That's also true as well. Do you think adoption for XRP will come straight after rules and regulations? Do I think it's going to come straight from rules and regulations? Yes. I think it's going to be happening in between regulations as well. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. The best research can be found here. Brooke, thank you so much for the kind words. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Did you know that that JP Morgan owns the majority of Ethereum consensus, and the rumor is that they helped influence the SEC to go after XRP during 2018 bull run, so people would use Ethereum rather. Yes, I did know that, and it is a rumor. It's not being confirmed in any sort of a way. XRP, are you saying Chainlink is not good and best? Chainlink is a good asset. I've said that. Chainlink is a good asset, but in my opinion, in the financial category, XRP will take that lead. Chainlink will probably take the lead in data, but in terms of payments, XRP is definitely taking that lead. XRP was originally going to be worth much more. It's still going to be worth a lot. Yeah, I keep heating up. I keep hearing the US gonna take Canada too. Also, according to Andrew Tate for UK. So XRP is more for the long run, but do you think XLM and HBAR will explode more this bull run than XRP? Do I think XLM and HBAR are going to go much more higher prices than XRP in this bull run? I think XRP, XLM, and HBAR are all going to do incredibly well in this bull run. Do I think XLM and HBAR are going to do better than XRP? I think due to XRP's nature being more on the side of heavy regulations, maybe, but in terms of, I would say it's 50-50. Honestly, it's absolutely 50-50. That part doesn't surprise me regarding the JP Morgan manipulation. Yep. Chainlink and XRP will be successful for two different reasons. Yes, I agree 100%. Definitely. Chainlink will be successful in the data category, small contracts. XRP will be successful in terms of payments and so on, in terms of tokenizations as well. Two different things, that they're both in two different fields. They have some similarities in the same field, for example, in terms of tokenization and so on. But when it comes to payments, XRP is taking the lead. When it comes to small contract play, Chainlink is taking the lead. So yeah, they're both going to do incredibly well in different categories. 100%, I agree. Yeah, definitely, Brooks. Facts. Miles, please take caring of help. Yes, I am. Now, Prince Philip, not the Philip you're thinking about, the Prince of Serbia has came out and said that Bitcoin is the freedom token. I'm okay with becoming another US state, 60% less tax, and no USA-made crypto tax. I'm in. Let's go, Covettos. So now, Prince Philip, the Prince of Serbia, sees Bitcoin as a key to freedom and energy use. So this man has never spoken about cryptocurrencies in his life until today. Prince Philip of Serbia has voiced his strong support for Bitcoin in an interview today, describing it as a way to achieve financial independence. In my opinion, you could pretty much get financial independence from XRP, XLM, XDC, HBOT, Chainlink, AVAX. There's a lot of crypto assets that could give you that financial independence, no financial advice. It's not just Bitcoin. But the thing is, every time you see a politician or a prime minister or a president, or in this case, a prince of a country coming out, then the one thing that they only know is Bitcoin. In reality, you could get much more financial independence from other assets compared to Bitcoin, especially if you have a small budget. A small budget will go a long way on XRP, XLM, XDC, and HBOT than it would on Bitcoin long term. It's based on quantity. So, Prince Philip describing it as a way to achieve financial independence. He essentially appeared on Serbian television, a show hosted by Ivan, where he called the cryptocurrency freedom and explained its potential to separate money from government control. He believes Bitcoin offers people an opportunity to gain economic sovereignty. Prince Philip also discussed Bitcoin's alignments with financial principles, which prioritize fairness, prohibit interest, and emphasizes ethical practices. He describes Bitcoin as a perfect, essentially, type of money because of its decentralization structure and its ability to align with essentially many financial laws. He predicts its adoption will grow in majority nations because it offers compliant and inadequate financial essentially systems. Additionally, he noted that Bitcoin could become a major tool for countries seeking financial stability and independence. He believes that its decentralized nature could help redefine global financial systems and create a more balanced economic future. Prince Philip works as a financial analyst in London, where he helps clients understand market trends and manage their investment portfolios. On the Serbian television show, he explained essentially that his job involves analyzing markets and collaborating with other financial experts to offer advice that helps clients make informed decisions. His professional background gives him insights into Bitcoin's potential to transform global finance. He also serves as a chief streak officer at Jan3, where he supports projects that promote Bitcoin-driven fields. During a Bitcoin Mina 2024 conference, he delivered a presentation on how countries can integrate Bitcoin into their economic and benefit for its adoption. Prince Philip further explained that Bitcoin mining can optimize energy usage by converting wasted or excess energy into value. He cited Abu Dhabi as a leading example of a country leveraging Bitcoin for mining, value storage, and exchanges. He dismissed claims that Bitcoin mining harms the environment and explained how miners often use renewable or standard energy resources. He argued that Bitcoin mining could help resource-rich nations and utilize energy more efficiently and support economic growth. Prince Philip also envisions a future where Bitcoin supports sustainable energy use and financial independence worldwide. You know, every country is trying to aim for that, essentially, creating a Bitcoin portfolio because of Trump once again talking about a Bitcoin portfolio, Bitcoin Street, essentially Bitcoin portfolio. And they always talk about, the financial freedom that Bitcoin could give you and so on and so on. There's always that one question in the back of people's heads when it comes to crypto, though. If you're inside the crypto field, the one question that always comes to the back of your head is, who created Bitcoin? Bitcoin is, every country, every prime minister, president, politician, or in this case, a prince of a country, they talk about, how Bitcoin can give you freedom, how Bitcoin is the one to go for, how Bitcoin is the number one token you should be looking at. Yeah, but who created it? Trying to hold something that you don't know who created it is a bit of a red flag. I'm not saying Bitcoin is a red flag in any sort of a way, but in a way, who created it? Because when it comes to other assets, at least we know who created it. Ripple, XRP, Chainlink, Link, Ethereum, ETH. When it comes to any other asset, we know who created it, who's the backbone. That one, we don't know. And that should raise a million questions maybe later on. Now, moving on essentially from Prince Philip's perspectives on Bitcoin and how it's going to be the freedom token for everybody. In my opinion, other assets can do the exact same thing that Bitcoin can do, and they'll do it 10 times better. Bitcoin is a great asset for store of value, due to its limited supply, even though BlackRock may argue that they can print more Bitcoins if they wanted to, beyond 21 million supply token. But other than that, Bitcoin is a great asset for a store of value, even though we don't know who created it, or we can take a guess on who created it, because Satoshi Nakamoto backwards actually is Central Intelligence in Japanese. But keeping that to one side, what we're going to talk about next is Michael Saylor, which is also relatable to Bitcoin. Michael Saylor breathes and eats and sleeps Bitcoin. That's a given. The man was the first one to create basically a Bitcoin ETF with his company stock, MSTR. And then about 8 other companies around the world started following his footsteps. And Michael Saylor has said that he's never going to stop buying Bitcoin, no matter what. And we are definitely seeing evidence of that, because his recent purchase of buying Bitcoin is $101 million. Michael Saylor spent $101 million on his recent purchase on buying Bitcoin. This man is raising $42 billion to buy Bitcoin, no matter what the price is. He was actually on a live interview once, where the host asked him, what's your limit? Bitcoin reaches 200,000. Are you still buying it? He said, yes. In his own words, he said, Bitcoin goes to 1 million, I'm still buying it, is what he said. And I'm not saying Bitcoin is at 1 million anywhere near it right now, but we're definitely still seeing evidence of that. I mean, the price is sitting at right now, he just spent $101 million buying more. So here it is. Michael Saylor now buys another whopping $101 million in Bitcoin, adding a total of 1,070 coins to MicroStrategy's reserve portfolio. As the new year begins, MicroStrategy has made headlines for another audacious move in the cryptocurrency space. The company has added 1,070 Bitcoins to its balance sheets, investing a staggering $101 million in the process. This latest acquisition brings MicroStrategy's total Bitcoin holdings to an impressive 470,000 coins, now valued at approximately $44.3 billion. This man owns, as in his company, $44.3 billion worth of Bitcoin. However, this is just the beginning, as the company under the leadership of Michael Saylor has ambitious plans to further expand its Bitcoin portfolios. This is just the beginning. Despite its aggressive Bitcoin acquisition strategy, Michael Saylor is not without its challenges. The company currently holds $7.3 billion in debt, which adds a layer of complexity to its financial situation. Their strategy, essentially, which thrives on the inherent volatility of Bitcoin, could either prove to be a brilliant move or lead to significant turmoil. Investors are left wondering if this high-risk approach will pay off in the long term. Because for any given reason, if anything, and I mean anything, happens to Bitcoin along the way throughout the years, it gets compromised in some sort of a way, or they're able to print more Bitcoins, is what BlackRock was talking about, or anything like that, MSTR is going to go down the drain. Their entire company is pretty much going to go to zero. Investors are left wondering on their high-risk approach in their long run. For now, Michael Saylor's strategy is working, and it definitely is. MicroStrategy as a company is doing incredibly well on the stock market. MSTR stock is skyrocketing. Whether it involves navigating the complexities of the Nasdaq 100 or raising new capital or managing essentially the volatility of cryptocurrency market spaces, MicroStrategy's journey promises to be anything but predictable. A pivotal moment is on the horizon with the upcoming vote on share authorization scheduled for January 21st. This vote could serve as a defining moment for MicroStrategy's ambitious, essentially, Bitcoin strategy. As we're in 2025, investors are bracing themselves for what promises to be essentially in the thrilling year. MicroStrategy's audacious approach to Bitcoin investment continues to unfold, and stakeholders are kneelingly watching how this bold experiment will play out in the ever-evolving landscape of cryptocurrencies. Strap in, it's set to be a rollercoaster year for investors and the cryptocurrency market alike. Here's the thing. The only thing, essentially, Michael Saylor is betting on, the only thing he's betting on is a country like the United States creating a Bitcoin reserve. If the United States creates a Bitcoin reserve and starts buying Bitcoins and actually goes to a target of 5% of the 5% of the supply of Bitcoin owned by America, then companies like MicroStrategy stock, MSTR, will be skyrocketing. MicroStrategy will become an incredibly, and I mean incredibly, wealthy company. That is what Michael Saylor is betting on. Somebody like Trump creating that Bitcoin reserve, and the rest of the world follows its suit. So essentially, Hong Kong, South Korea, Singapore, Japan, the Middle East in general, the EU in general, and the UK and Canada and everybody else, and then Latin American countries as well, following America's footsteps and creating that Bitcoin reserve when America does it. And if that happens, then yeah, MicroStrategy is going to become one incredibly wealthy company. That is what he's betting on, and that is why he's spending millions of dollars pretty much every weekend to buy more Bitcoin. And he doesn't buy, he doesn't wait for discounts. He just buys. And he's not buying $1 to $2 million. This man buys $100 million at once. Once he bought $900 million at once. Once he bought roughly $1 billion, close to $1 billion at once. But he's still raising $42 billion to buy more Bitcoin. So that is why he's buying it. Is it going to work out at the end, or is it not? For the time being, it's definitely going to be working out for him. For the time being, it's going to be working out. Honestly, because it's not just Trump who wants to create a Bitcoin reserve. It's also Senator Cynthia Luminous. She wants to create a Bitcoin reserve as well. She's already put the Bitcoin Act in. The Bitcoin Act has already got enough signatures. I think, I'm not guessing, if I'm not mistaken, enough votes down to be able to be implemented somewhere down the road. That gets implemented, America's going to be holding quite a lot of Bitcoin, and the rest of the world is going to follow in suit, and MicroStrategy is going to go skyrocketing up. So, yeah. Now, before we talk about the next news, which is regarding the Federal Reserve, let's go to the comment section first, and then we go straight into the Federal Reserve news, which is also relatable to Trump. Trump's Liberty Financial brought Link, BTC, and ETH, and they also brought XRP. Why are you leaving that one out? Be fair. And we're already in the phase where institutions are regularly piloting digital currencies, like Egypt did with Cargo X, that's true, and managing paperwork for transportations and a payment method, that's also true. And there will be hundreds of official chains for hundreds of countries, which comes into play with smart contracts and on-call services. Yes. I think Prince Philip is running too fast with his opinion. He's running too fast with his opinion. Many say Elon Musk made the Bitcoin and has proof. People are saying Elon Musk made Bitcoin and they have proof. Interesting. I've never heard that one. I've heard many different versions of who created Bitcoin. Never the one where Elon Musk created it. That's an interesting one. Bitcoin won't reach $1 million until the American Bitcoin reserves are put into books. Yes, exactly. And the majority of states have their own. Has been operating for a while, actually using it. Yes, I agree 100%. It will only happen if if America has a Bitcoin reserve, everybody else follows in suit. And then, yes, we can see Bitcoin reaching $1 million. Cut the fat mouse regarding what Bitcoin. We won't reach $1 million points until regulation is intact and enforced, which includes regulating crypto gambling and enforcing KYC and enforcing AML, anti-money laundering laws. That as well. So yeah, until KYC, AML is essentially enforced, the gambling one will be a celibate. But yeah, KYC and AML is being enforced. And the crypto cases need to go away. So essentially the Ripple case needs to stop. Coinbase case needs to stop. Kraken needs to stop. All these cases that are going on, they all need to go away. The good thing is today news came out that Gemini, the case is already settled for five something million or something on those lines. So that case is pretty much settled, done and dusted with, which is great news on Gemini case. But all these cases inside the crypto space need to go away 100%. Now, alongside the rules and regulations, Federal Reserve Michael Barr resigns in fear of President Trump. It's good to see more people essentially just exiting naturally, because they know Trump is going to be, replacing them either way. So they're thinking we might as well step down. Now, just from a perspective, why is this news crypto related? Because this man inside the Federal Reserve was anti-crypto. He was a part of the operation of trying to stifle crypto, and he was a member of the Federal Reserve. And he decided out of fear to just drop out before Trump comes in January 20th. Michael Barr is out. The Federal Reserve's vice chair for supervision has announced he's stepping down from the top regulatory job effective February 28th. The timing is unmistakably strategic. President Donald Trump, back in power, isn't exactly known for tolerating oppositions, especially at the Fed. While he leaves essentially his supervisory role, Michael Barr plans to stick around as a governor on the Fed board until his term ends in 2026. This guy has harassed both the crypto space and the stock market. Here's the reasonings of why the American market, one of the reasons why the American markets weren't moving too much, especially the crypto space. Barr made his stance clear in a carefully worded statement. Without naming Trump directly, he said, the risk of a dispute over the position could be a distraction from other missions in the current environment. I've determined that I would be more effective in serving the American people from my role as a governor rather than his previous role. Wall Street didn't waste any time reacting. Banks' stocks rallied almost immediately after Michael Barr's resignation. The moment this man said, I'm resigning as a Fed governor, the stock market positive, crypto market positive. That's how much this man was holding down pretty much both markets. The SPDR and SP Bank ETF, a tracker for the industry giants, jumped over 1%. Investors know what this means, a chance for Trump to name a pro-crypto and pro-banking appointee. Michael Barr's exit also freezes the Fed's ongoing regulatory projects. Key among them is the Basel Endgame, a controversial set of rules aimed at tightening banking oversight. It's been a sore point for the industry, and with Michael Barr stepping aside, progress on these reforms is now on hold until Trump picks whoever's next in charge. The vice chair of the supervision role wasn't always a thing. It was created after the 2008 financial crisis, a time when Wall Street's biggest players were dropping like flies. Michael Barr's tenure wasn't without its own dramas. In 2023, Silicon Valley Bank and a handful of others collapsed, triggering a crisis forced the Fed essentially to step in with a special liquidity facility to prevent a broader meltdown. While the immediate damage was contained, the episode raised questions about the Fed's ability to foresee and manage risk. It was a horrible time for the crypto industry too. As Fox Business journalist Ellen Tarrant pointed out, Michael Barr was widely essentially considered to be a big part of the reasons why banks had been unable to engage with the crypto custody. Interesting on that one. So it wasn't just the FDIC chairman sending letters to banks to tell them to stop working with crypto companies in the US. It was also Michael Barr from the Fed telling banks not to work with crypto companies inside the US. Trump's relationship with the Federal Reserve has always been complicated. Do you know what I like about this, honestly? Just before, look, Donald Trump being a president is incredible, absolutely incredible. Because even before Donald Trump has stepped into presidency, we're already seeing the behind closed door situations collapsing. You know, for example, the FDIC chairman who was stifling banks, essentially releasing letters because of Coinbase and so on. This man essentially resigning naturally. Gary Gensler resigning naturally. A lot of people resign naturally, and all of them were anti-crypto, and all their behind closed door meetings suddenly hit the news. How they were sending letters to the banks, how they were telling banks not to work with them, how they were setting hard rules and regulations for banks and institutions to not essentially work with crypto companies. All of this is just coming out into the open air. This is before Trump takes his seat. Already we're seeing all the F-ups just released. During his essentially first term, Trump's relationship with the Federal Reserve has always been complicated. During his first term, he slammed the Fed for raising interest rates, even floating the idea of essentially raising interest rates, even floating the idea of firing his chair, Jerome Powell. While that didn't happen, the tension between Trump and the central bank was consistent, essentially, and undercut. Now, the Fed's independence is under scrutiny once again. The president's most direct influence on the Fed comes from his ability to appoint governors and assign key roles, including the chair. These appointments require Senate confirmation, but with Republicans controlling the chamber, Trump has a freer hand to shape the Fed's leadership. Jerome Powell's term as chair ends in 2026, and Trump has already said he won't fire him. Jerome Powell's term as a governor lasts until 2028, but by then, Trump will likely have left his mark on the Fed's policymaking body. Another vacancy looms in January 2026 when Governor Andrea's term ends. These changes will give Trump a huge opportunity to steer the Fed, essentially to steer the Fed in the correct direction. During his campaign, Trump walked a fine line, saying he believed presidents shouldn't interfere with monetary policy, but also insisting that the president essentially should have some influence. He's already made it clear that he wants the Fed to be more aligned with his growth-oriented, low-regulation economic vision. Can Trump fire Jerome Powell outright? It's complicated. The Federal Reserve Act allows the president to remove the board members for a cause. But legal scholars say that that's a high bar, typically involving misconduct or abuse of power. Removing Jerome Powell as a chair, though, doesn't mean he'd lose his spot as a governor. And even if Trump strips him of his chairmanship, Jerome Powell could still lead the Fed's rate-setting committee, a position chosen by the members, not the president. So as much as Jerome Powell, as much as Trump might want to remove Jerome Powell, he's going to have a difficulty on that one. But he can make Jerome Powell's life a living hell. The same way Gary Gensler made the crypto space a living hell for all of us under Biden's administration of circus freaks, Trump can also make Jerome Powell's life a living hell if he doesn't cooperate by giving out the correct numbers for once in his life. Honestly, what Jerome Powell needs to do is rate cuts, but for some reason, he don't want to do them. The longer he waits and doesn't do rate cuts, the more we're going to be heading towards an economic bubble. Now, harsh rate cuts can also make an economy go towards an economic bubble, but he can do much more lower to medium-sized rate cuts to make the economy move steadier, essentially steadier along. But no rate cuts or harsh rate cuts can both end in economic crisis situations. But medium-sized to small rate cuts is pretty much the way to go forward now. And then for some reason, Jerome Powell just doesn't want to do it. He was forced last time to pretty much do a rate cut. But honestly, this is why, I love the idea of a Trump presidency, because the world is starting to behave themselves. Everybody in a high, powerful position seat in America is every single one of them are starting to behave themselves. It's nice when you see politicians for once doing their job, or for once deciding maybe they're not the best position to be running the show and just stepping down. This is all because of Trump. Because if Kamala Harris was chosen, it would have been a doom and gloom day for America and for the rest of the world, because it was going to be a circus. It was genuinely going to be a circus freak show where the politicians will do whatever they want, whenever they want, and take everybody's taxpaying money. But because Trump's coming into power, and he still hasn't, we're still a little bit off on January 20th, he still hasn't got the seat. January 20th is when he takes the seat. Even before that, everybody's starting to act the way they should do, or resign before he comes in. That is what you call power. The rest of the presidents have no power. Honestly, I've said this before and I'll say it again. As much as the news will tell people, everybody's laughing at Trump, the only people who think, essentially the only people that who assume that anybody's laughing at Trump is mostly retail section, and mostly it's the liberals or, Biden supporters or Kamala supporters who think people are laughing at Trump. The rest of the world isn't really laughing at Trump. The rest of the world fears Trump, which is a good thing, to be fairly honest. Because you need a president that's, people fear. Because if you don't have somebody running the show, a lot of people don't like it. They don't like America being in charge of everyone. Everybody always goes, why is America in charge? Why does America say something and we have to listen? Because if you don't have a country like America in charge, China will take Taiwan like this. If you don't have America in charge, essentially, Russia will take Ukraine like this. Not saying, anybody should be supporting Ukraine in any sort of a way. No, thank you. We're not sending them billions of dollars in any sort of way. But if you don't have a country like, if you don't have a president, or you don't have a country like Trump, you don't have a country like the United States in charge, everybody will do whatever they want. China will do whatever they want. Russia will do whatever they want. The Middle East will do whatever they want. The EU will do whatever. Everybody will just do whatever they want. That's why you need a country like America in charge, and most importantly, a president like Trump in charge to put everybody back in their seats and say, hey, you can't do that. Because under a Biden presidency, a war will start, between Russia and Ukraine, and billions of dollars will be spent to contain that war. Under a Trump presidency, Trump just says, Putin, sit back down. Zelensky, sit back down. That's it. And that's what happens under a Trump presidency. Same situation. If China wants to go up against Taiwan, Trump will just make one phone call to China and say, Xi Jinping, sit back down. That's it. There's no more war, sending billions of dollars to contain a war. None of that. That's why you need a country like America in charge, because if there wasn't a president like Trump, everybody will do whatever they want. And trust me, you don't want that. So next time, before you say, because a lot of people do say, why does everybody listen to America? Why is America in charge? It's a good thing that they're in charge. Trust me. You just can't see the bigger picture. And the good thing about this is also that he's pro-crypto, which is an added bonus, honestly, because him being pro-crypto means the world is going to become pro-crypto. We're about to make a lot of money, so bring it back to crypto again. Now, on the topic of essentially blockchain and AI, let's say now, what we're going to talk about next is also on the topic of Russia and China, is Russia and China. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section first. And then we go straight to the Russia and China news and AI technology. So let's see what's going on inside the comment section first. We were here. Michael's strategy is a very big spark inside the crypto flame. Yes, he is definitely. Michael Barr was an executive at Ripple before joining the Fed. He's not anti-crypto. He slightly is. XRP. Let's go. Some people think that's the only reason that the crypto market, also on the stock market, is up today. Some people think Trump is already in and Biden is still the one calling the shots. No wonder why they voted for Kamala. Yeah, honestly, facts. Yeah, some people actually assume that Trump is in already. In reality, he isn't in any sort of a way. It's still Sleepy Joe running the shots. January 20th is when Trump takes his seat and actually calls the shots. Just take advantage of the next 4 years because it's going to be a good ride. Yes, facts. Now, but Putin wants Russia and SoftBank to work with China on AI to break the US dominance. As we all know, the good old story, Russia and China always trying to take over the US. But they want to do it in terms of AI technology. Now, they've started, obviously, the BRICS payment systems and so on in the blockchain sector. Now they want to go into the AI sector as well and try to really take over America, even though they failed with the whole BRICS scenario. But here it is. The instructions were made public, essentially through the Kremlin website today, about 3 weeks after President Putin announced that his country would collaborate with BRICS partners and other countries to develop AI. The BRICS bloc is a group of emerging economics often portrayed as a counterweight to the Western-led world order. Russia has been looking for tech alternatives since it invaded Ukraine, and Western sanctions limited to the country's access to high tech. Ensure further cooperation with the People's Republic of China in technological research and developments in the field of artificial intelligence. As we go throughout the years, AI is going to become a massive thing, to be fairly honest. AI is going to be pretty much in every aspect of our lives. Major world producers of microchips halted exports to Russia due to Western essentially sanctions. These sanctions were intended to restrict Moscow access to technologies it needs to sustain its war against Ukraine, severely limiting essentially its AI ambitions. According to retainers, a former Russian finance official told the news agency that the country would be using second-grade technology for years and spending huge resources to recreate what already exists. Goods heavily impacted by Western sanctions include semiconductor chips. aviation parts, and medical essentially parts as well. Besides the AI chips, sale embargoes, the trade restrictions have also hit Russia's access to financial payments and technologies, promoting the country to seek essentially substitutes in forms of parallel import and domestic substitutes. Graphics processing units, GPUs, microchips, essential for AI development, has been difficult for Russia to replace, according to the chief executive of SoftBank in Russia. As a way to ensure actions in being taken, President Putin and the Prime Minister of Russia have led to the AI effort that essentially went forward with AI technology. The appointees are expected to come back essentially with a progress report by April 2025. However, finding technology alternatives to Western products has not been easy so far for the country. UK-based, for example, Global AI Index ranks Russia at 31 out of 83 countries. Innovation and investments and AI implementations, the ranking has Russia well behind the US, China, and other BRICS members, India and Brazil, and so on. The first deputy chief executive of SoftBank, Alexandra, in December 2024, said that Russia was 6 to 9 months behind the US and China in range of parameters. He said Russia would focus on developing large language models rather than building massive data centers. In dealing with BRICS and other non-payment essential Western countries, Russia is seeking to challenge US dominance. Is one of the most promising and crucial technologies of the 21st century is AI. SoftBank claimed that AI associates from Brazil, China, India, and South Africa had already created a network, essentially a network after President Putin on December 11, 2024, said that he wanted to develop a new AI alliance network for BRICS members and other interested countries. On December 31st, 2024, Chinese President Xi Jinping exchanged essentially New Year greetings with President Putin by saying the political mutual trust and strict coordination between the two sides have continuously marched to a higher level under the strict guidance of the two new leaders. This comes as Chinese have essentially continued to deny acquisitions of supporting Russia's military efforts. It is true, China is, day by day denying the idea of helping Russia in any sort of a way. It's because they don't want to get sanctioned by the US. China cannot afford to be sanctioned by the US. If China gets sanctioned by the US, China's economy will collapse instantly, pretty much. They're really close to that economic crisis bubble. And again, a lot of people see China as a massive powerhouse. It's extremely close to an economic bubble, genuinely. And it could go either way for them. So that is why China keeps on denying the idea of helping Russia in any sort of a way, because they're not brave enough to say it out loud. This comes as China has continued to essentially deny accusations, and a potential Russia and China partnership in AI could cause concerns beyond sanctions and skirting. China's foray into AI is raising concerns about the censorship in the country, where expression is tightly controlled. According to the Financial Times reports in July 2024, Chinese officials have tested essentially Chinese large language models to ensure they essentially embody core socialist values. So, in the most simplest way, China and Russia are heading towards AI badly because apparently Russia, in terms of their AI, they're behind Western countries about 6 to 9 months when it comes to AI technology. And China's a little bit behind as well because China is not getting the newest AI chips that's coming out of America and so on because they're sanctioned on AI chips. But here's the thing. We could see this go either way. One being that China and Russia decide to partner up with Chinese and Russian companies, decide to partner up with AI blockchain projects, which is a good thing if you're holding any of the good ones. The other way it could go is they start building their own AI companies or AI startup companies, and somewhere down the line, they partner with AI blockchains. But either way it goes, I will keep you updated on Russia and China's AI venture together, because if you're somebody that's into AI projects, then you definitely want to know one that, two of the biggest market spaces in the world are about to go into the AI field. And they want to go at it very hard because they're very behind compared to the Western countries. But now moving away essentially from Russia essentially and China's new emerging AI field to Bernstein. Bernstein has came out with new predictions on the market space of where they think the market space is going to go towards. And their last predictions were that Bitcoin is going to reach $200,000 next year. Not this year, next year. They said Bitcoin is going to reach $250,000 2026, was pretty much their previous predictions. And they said Ethereum is going to reach $10,000 in 2 years' time as well. Some of those lines. New predictions that came out from Bernstein's analysts and reports and so on. And, well, they've shortened their target deadlines, to be fairly honest. So, Bernstein announces Bitcoin and Ethereum expectations for 2025. While great expectations for Bitcoin and altcoins continue for 2025, Bernstein's analysts announced their predictions. And at this point, Bernstein's analysts stated that they expect Bitcoin to reach $200,000 this year, excluding government demand as their first estimate. Bernstein's analysts retreated their 200,000 price target for Bitcoin. The block reported the reasonings of why essentially Bernstein decided not to say in 2 years' time $250,000 Bitcoins, and why they shortened their targets and said 200,000 this year for Bitcoin. Donald Trump is the reasonings why Bernstein's analysts completely changed their perspective. Trump presidency this year is going to be skyrocketing high prices for crypto assets in general. Remember when I said that as well? And again, not being cocky in any sort of a way. Just genuinely very proud of the wisdom God's given me. But remember when I said this as well? 6 months back, 4 months back, 3 months back, 2 months back, 1 month back. I said 2025 when most crypto analysts was saying essentially that 2025, we're going to see the top of the market in January, and then we're going to go into a bear market inside the crypto space. And I said anybody that's predicting a bear market in 2025 is a moron. We're going to have ups and downs and turbulence and so on inside the crypto space. Sure, that's always going to be there. But a bear market, forget about it. We're about to go into a Trump presidency. Which bear market are you looking at? Because the Trump presidency means rules and regulations, dropping of the cases in terms of dismissals or settlements, rules and regulations, new SEC chairman, new FDIC chairman, a Fed member dropped out as well, to be fairly honest, America becoming a capital hub, banks and institutions getting involved, more ETFs for altcoins, and the rest of the world markets following America's footsteps. Where's the bear market? It's pretty much what I said, but some people inside the crypto space were saying that going into 2025, January will be the top of the crypto markets, and then we're going to a bear market. How? How are you predicting this? And now, not only are the crypto influencers, the ones that were saying we're going to go into a bear market, are singing a different tune now and saying 2025 is going to be pro-crypto, but also you have, Bernstein analysts coming out and saying, yeah, 2025 is going to be an exceptional year. So here it is, their prediction of why they've changed their deadlines. Citing Donald Trump's plan for a Bitcoin reserve for the US analysts said the price could reach $200,000 by the end of this year. Instead, based solely on demand from institutional investors, excluding the potential government purchases. Just by Donald Trump bringing in the regulations for institutions, they're predicting $200,000 Bitcoin is going to happen definitely. Just by the regulations. Analysts' expectations for 2025 include spot Bitcoin ETF net fund flows exceeding $70 billion, the stablecoin market space exceeding $500 billion, and positive, essentially, regulatory developments in the addition to $200,000 estimate for Bitcoin's price. Bernstein's analyst, also led by Gautam, said that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are entering an age of eternity. Here's an interesting one. Bernstein's analysts are saying that cryptocurrencies are entering an age of eternity by 2025. Analysts said that they expect institutional adoption to continue to grow, doubling in spot and ETF inflows to $70 billion. Further, analysts also said that they expect ETF momentum to continue with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but also potential Solana ETF towards the end of the year as well, and other ETFs this year. They said the US announcement of a national Bitcoin reserve will ignite a global race for dominance among nation states to buy Bitcoin. They said our $200,000 price predictions expectations only takes into account institutional and corporate demand. We expect increased Bitcoin buying via corporate treasuries and Bitcoin ETFs. Therefore, if Bitcoin remains below the sub 100,000 level for a long period, BTC will change hands for short-term investors, long-term holders such as MicroStrategy and Bitcoin ETF holders. Analysts also essentially expect the Securities and Exchange Commissions to drop or resolve ongoing lawsuits with crypto companies, allowing more crypto firms to enter the public market space. Recently, also, Bernstein's analyst said that Ethereum is poised to become the next institutional darling in 2025, despite the underperformance last year. According to analysts, with 28% of Ethereum staked at 3% held by ETFs and 7.5% locked in smart contracts, Ethereum's appeal to traditional investors is increasing, which will push its price up. I think this was the only part they got wrong. Ethereum is not going to become institutional darling in any sort of a way. Ethereum is slow and expensive. That's what's wrong with Ethereum. Ethereum is like a 1998 laptop. That's what Ethereum is. And then when you use XRP, it's like using a MacBook Pro. Be very honest. Honestly, the way of comparing them, it's like comparing a 1980s laptop to a MacBook Pro when it comes to Ethereum and XRP. But 2025, the year that we're in, and going forward, it's all going to be pro-crypto. Every single bit of it is going to be positive for cryptocurrencies. Now, also, on the topic of pro-cryptocurrencies this year, not only did we get a Bernstein report that I just read out, but we also got a perspective coming in from Bitwise's CEO. Bitwise's CEO predicts a Trump administration will boost crypto mergers by 70%. According to Hunter Horsley, the Bitwise CEO, asset manager, he reportedly expected more mergers and acquisitions in cryptocurrencies to come into force because of Trump's economic measures. He's predicting a 70% higher chance of essentially blockchain companies coming in and partnering up with traditional businesses in America or in general. On this note, he opinions that more corporate M&A delegations could lead to a 70% increase in crypto M&As that could redefine the sector in general. So a merger happening between traditional finance and blockchain, 70% chance in his prediction. In a recent interview, the CEO of Bitwise explained that the potential delegation under Trump administration could allow big corporations such as Google or Amazon to flex their muscles and develop themselves through acquisitions. This concentration of corporate power may accelerate an evolution towards decentralization. By design, cryptocurrencies is set to embody those ethos. These are economies of scale, increased market positions, and acquisitions of other assets identified in essentially M&As. According to Horsley, as big companies increasingly concentrate assets and influence, smaller outstanding systems such as cryptocurrencies will be embraced. Google and Amazon are two of the companies that are already investing in blockchain technologies. Amazon Web Services, AWS, has introduced Amazon Essentially Managed Blockchains, which provides capabilities of developing a scalable blockchain technology. It makes Amazon an important market player in the field of enterprise blockchain services. Similarly, Google has expanded its blockchain abilities by including blockchain as a service inside the Google Cloud. There is also this service that allows businesses to create and launch decentralized applications, a move that clearly shows that Google can and is not averse to the crypto space. As Bitwise's CEO put it, these activities of technology enterprises signifies the rising trend of overall blockchain implementation, aside from ever amplifying impacts of controversial M&As. Bitwise's CEO comments come at the same time as other cryptocurrencies bounce back to the market due to the re-election of Donald Trump. The cryptocurrency industry has already seen Trump as a friendly or liberalization of business space that is viewed to embrace digital assets and blockchain. Since Trump's victory, Bitcoin has risen from around $69,000 on November 8, 2024 to over $100,000 in early December. Of this growth, the analysts say that the anticipation of a better regulation of the industry in the future fuels it. According to the market analyst, Jane Doe, Trump's administration should reduce the existing restrictions, which will allow a much more favorable environment for digital assets. Since its establishments, Bitwise's CEO as the head of the company has been working in the field of cryptocurrencies and investments for 7 years at Bitwise. The firm has available products inside the market space such as crypto funds and ETFs that allows investors to invest directly in the growing crypto market space. According to Bitwise's CEO, the major business actors and dynamics of regulatory change will determine the form and content of conventional and new finance technologies in 2025. This is quite an encouraging time for the M&As and cryptocurrency space as we adapt to these shifts, the Bitwise CEO said. Interesting. Bitwise's CEO talking about a 70% chance of more happening between institutions and blockchain companies under regulations. Who saw that one coming? Look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. This year, next year, and the year after, and the year after, the 4 years under Trump, because who knows who's going to be after Trump. But the 4 years right now we're going to be in with Trump is going to be an incredible journey. Incredible journey. If you're holding the right crypto assets, your life is pretty much set. On the topic of incredible journey, Ripple. Ripple's CEO, also on the topic of Trump, Ripple's CEO today came out and said, Trump effect is driving crypto industries optimism. Ripple, a leading blockchain company, is experiencing a significant shift in its operations. Per a recent X post from the CEO, Brad, he stated that 75% of Ripple's open positions are now inside the United States. Ironically, 75% of Ripple's operations were outside the United States. Now, because of Trump, 75% of their operations, open operations, are inside the United States. This shift is attributed to the essentially rising optimism surrounding Donald Trump's incoming administration. His leadership has sparked positive ripple effects throughout the world of crypto. The Ripple CEO announcements marks a notable change in Ripple's hiring strategy. For the past 4 years, Ripple has been expanding its workforce outside the US. This strategy was primarily due to the protracted legal fight with the US SEC. The lawsuit alleged that Ripple's native token XRP is a security under SEC Gary Gensler's leadership. The case made it hard for Ripple to grow its business in the US. As a result, hiring abroad seemed like the only viable option to keep the company growing despite the uncertainty at home. The legal hurdles once stifled Ripple's US operations gave way to renowned optimism due to Trump's presidential election victory. Brad revealed that in the final 6 weeks of 2024, this is also an interesting one. In the final 6 weeks, of last year, 2024, Ripple inked more domestic deals than combined in the prior 6 months. Essentially, before the voting happened, before the presidential voting happened in America, we were still under the Biden administration. We didn't know who was going to be president. We didn't know the votes. And Ripple was, having difficulty trying to get signatures, trying to make contracts in America. So the prior 6 months, comparing it to the last 6 weeks in 2024, Ripple signed more contracts than they did in 6 weeks in America with companies and institutions than they did in the prior 6 months. The broader crypto market has currently felt the optimism surrounding Trump's incoming leadership. The past months have seen a remarkable rally in cryptocurrency prices. XRP's price saw an impressive 330% value increase. The asset surged from around 55 cents to $2.41, reflecting the surge in investor confidence And this is all before a Trump coming in January 20th. Ripple going from 55 cents to $2, essentially XRP going from 55 cents to $2.41 is before Trump takes his seat on January 20th. It's before Gary Gensler resigning January 20th, before the FDIC resigning, before the case dismissals and settles. And it's already, 55 cents, $2.41. Before the regulations, before the adoption, and so on. Bitcoin's BTC price posted a historic high as well of 108,000 before settling down to its current price. And essentially other digital assets, including Ethereum, the broader altcoin market saw significant upticks in the respective prices. The sector of decentralized finance, DeFi, and non-essential fungible tokens, NFTs, were not left behind. As Trump prepares to take office on January 20th, many inside the crypto world are very hopeful. There is optimism around the administration priorities that will create a more stable, supportive environment for digital cryptocurrencies. Donald Trump's pro-crypto stance has electrified the industry. The president-elect has vowed to establish a national crypto stockpile and prioritize domestic Bitcoin mining, and these policies aim to essentially cement the US's leadership inside the global crypto landscape. Trump's commitment has entitled confidence in companies like Ripple. But not everyone shares the same enthusiasms. Arthur Hayes, for example, former CEO of BitMEX, has expressed cautions. He suggests that it might be unrealistic to expect Trump to take his big promises during his presidency. Arthur Hayes is an absolute moron, to be fairly honest. If you ever see a post by Arthur Hayes, don't take it too seriously. The man has been wrong since day one until now. He cautioned that delays or disappointments could cause a sharp drop in crypto markets, hurting current excitements. Even so, the excitement surrounding Ripple's new direction and the potential for policy shifts under Trump's administration remains high, because it definitely should do. But look, I said this and I'll say it again. I'm just counting the days for January 20th to happen. Genuinely just counting the days until January 20th. Because I want to get the show rolling. I want to get the ball rolling. I want Trump and presidency happening now. I want the regulations happening now. The case getting dropped, dismissals and settled. But again, look, as I've said previously, and I'll say it again, we have three perspectives here right now. One perspective is coming from Bernstein, how this year is going to be incredible under a Trump presidency, and we're not going to be going down anytime soon for legitimate assets. The second perspective we had was Bitwise's CEO today as well, talking about how a 70% higher chance of partnerships happening between blockchain companies and essentially institutions, which is not lying, because the other thing that came out today as well was Ripple's CEO, Brad, talking about how they signed more contracts in the US in the last 6 weeks than they did in the last 6 months. And that's more contracts added to Ripple's already extensive list of institutions. And just to put in perspective, for everybody out there that might think to themselves, this is it for XRP, XRP is not going to be moving higher, because there are still people out there inside the crypto space, a lot of people, I'm guessing, that still doubt XRP's movements. Let me put it to you this way. If you doubted XRP at 55 cents, now it's sitting at around $2.40. If you're going to doubt XRP at $2.40, just remember one thing. We don't have a settlement or essentially a dismissal on the Ripple case. We don't have the SEC essentially chairman resigned yet. We still don't have Trump sitting in his presidency on January 20th. We don't have the regulations in place for institutions to bring in that adoption and banks bringing that adoption. And we still don't have the rest of the world following America's footsteps. And Ripple went, and XRP went from 55 cents to $2.41. What do you think is going to happen when all those things happen? When Trump takes his seat January 20th, Gary Gensler resigns, new SEC chairman, case gets dismissed or settled, rules and regulations, which is what XRP needs to thrive under because of its client base, banks institutions joining into the field. Ripple has an extensive list of institutions and banks under its field, has all the licenses it needs, and then under Trump presidency, it could definitely thrive, and the rest of the world following. Let's just keep in mind as well that while Ripple was being sued in America, they expanded where? Everywhere else. They have licensings and contracts in place pretty much everywhere around the world with banks and institutions. So when America goes on the crypto path and the rest of the world follows, guess who's also going to go skyrocketing up because of the rest of the world as well, not just the American markets, XRP. So we still haven't had any of those things happen, and we went from 55 cents to $2.40. So if you're somebody that's still doubting XRP, just either join in or just sit on the sidelines and miss out. Is the only thing I can pretty much say. But if I was you, I wouldn't really be sitting on the sidelines. Now, all good things must come to an end, and they have now. This is the endings of tonight's live. But before we do end, let's go into the comment section first. By the way, this it is a live. As I always say, there's if you have any comments, put it down inside the comment section. More than happy to help you out. Just take advantage of the next 4 years because it's going to be one good ride. Yes, I agree 100%. Good morning, Miles of CMF. Go Sputter. Good to see you. How you doing? I wonder who said so. Yeah, XRP Ledger is the Google of the internet. Exactly. I wonder who said so. Evening, Miles and CMF. Happy New Year, crypto year. Let's go, Mav. Good to see you. How you doing? Crypto year. I like that. Trump wasn't supposed to survive that day, though. Kamala was supposed to be going to the 20th. Yep. Now, Miles, we took a silent vote. You can't go yet. Can't go yet. Have a good one, Miles. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual. Thanks for amazing live, brother. Carol, see you tomorrow, brother, sometime as usual. Hi, Miles and family. Go and try and get to see you how you're doing. Have a good one, Miles. Zach, see you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well. If you're watching this for the first time ever, you don't know what this was the CMF Live. It stands for Crypto Miles Family. My name is Miles, and I go by the persona of Crypto Miles. And I'm the host of this live, Monday to Friday, 11:25 p.m. UK time. You can join into this live. If you want, if you haven't already, subscribe or follow. If you watch us on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, share. If you watch us on X, follow me, subscribe, and follow me, comment, retweet, and share, and so on. And if you want to know when I do go live, it is 11:25 p.m. UK time. But you can just click the little bell icon so you can immediately be alerted when I do go live. It's Monday to Friday you can tune in this live. So you can tune in tomorrow for episode 236 of the CMF Live, by the way. And on this live, I talk about the most recent news that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world completely transforming into a digital space. And the disclaimer of this live, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So if you watch this for the first time ever, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you tune in tomorrow. If you're a regular, let's go CMF. Let's go set the comment section before we go. Lol, thanks for all you do for our family each day. Just know it's appreciated. Scott, thanks so much for the kind words. Have a great night, Miles and CMF. Nice live as usual. Carl, let's go see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thanks for all your wisdom, Miles. Good night and see you tomorrow. Autistic, see you tomorrow, but at the same time as usual. Share the live. Let's go, Scott. Good night, Miles and CMF. Thanks for a great live. See you tomorrow. Let's see you tomorrow for any further as well. Thank you, Miles. Good night, all. Lena, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Good night, Miles, and all the CMF. Great live and news. Let's go, JP. See you tomorrow sometime as usual, brother. Good night, Miles and CMF. Frankie, brother. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Take care, Miles and CMF, though. Ray, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. Thanks, Miles, and good night to you and CMF. Stormy, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Good night and get some rest, Miles. I personally appreciate you. Our group appreciates everything you bring to us daily. Let's go, Scott. Thanks for the kind words and see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Thanks, Miles. Good night, CMF. Comatose. See you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. I'll be seeing everybody tomorrow. Also, if you haven't joined, join the X community page of this live as well, Crypto Miles Family Lounge. Good night, Miles and CMF. See you tomorrow, or if I see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. Join the Telegram group as well of this live. They're all free. Everything I do is completely free. This live is free, Telegram is free, and the CMF Lounge is free as well on X. And Orphan, see you tomorrow sometime as usual as well. When EF Houghton speaks, people listen. When Miles speaks, people listen. Hashtag CMF. Let's go, Scott. I'll be seeing everybody tomorrow. Same timing as usual, 11:25 p.m. UK time. I'll be seeing everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. See everybody tomorrow, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. CMF, see you tomorrow, same time.